Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Around the Table GTA. This is my first remote episode. I'm here with the one, the only, Chris Hollywood. You're gonna introduce yourself?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Chris Hollywood here. I'm excited to be your first traveling guest. You should do this more, to be totally honest. I feel like you could get a lot more people if you could be like, hey, I can come to you.
Yeah, the thing is, that was the whole concept, right? Because you know me, I'm still not driving. I'm being lazy. I'm too old not to be driving. But this is something that also inspired me to do the podcast so I could actually go around.
It's called travel. It's traveling in the GTA, right?
Yeah,
there you go.
So we're gonna start with the GTA.
Walking around with a man with a laptop and a microphone on his back.
Basically, right? So that's the...
You might hear my dog in the background because she wants to come and join in, but obviously if she joins in, we're not going to get anything done.
No, that dog is pretty loud and it's always hungry for whatever reason. So if you hear that, that's fine. But like I was saying, that was kind of another inspiration to push me to get driving. I will be driving very soon. That's the goal in the summer.
I'm right there with you, man. I don't drive either, right? Now Carlos and Sabrina, right, with my brother and sister, now they both have their license. I'm the only one now who doesn't have their license, and I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest, right? And that's the thing too, because if that happens with me and my sister, it's definitely going to be a problem because she's going to start flexing on me. I know how your
Carlos has already been like, he's been actually, you know what? He's not as bad as I assumed. As soon as he's like, oh, I'm getting my car, and I'm like, this is it. This is the beginning of the end. I'm never going to hear the end of this. He's been pretty chill, but there has been a few little things that he's kind of dropped there. And you know what? I have been testing myself. So, you go online, you can do the practice tests and stuff.
Yeah.
I do want to go and get it.
So,
but I have a I don't trust myself on the road. Mm-hmm. I don't trust other people on the road. Okay. That's my big thing. You know what I mean?
I think that's a big Brampton thing because I know the internet kind of blows everything up about Brampton, but it's not wrong. There's some people on the road that it's just like, where did you buy your license? Because I'm not driving and I know I could drive better than you.
Right, yeah.
Let me know. Give me the link. I'm going to be on the road too because how you're driving is fucking ridiculous.
I can't tell you how many accidents I've seen walking.
Yeah.
Right? Me just walking and all of a sudden crash. And I'm like, well, that happened for a stupid reason, right? Like, the two places where I see the most accidents are Vaughan and Main Streets. Mm-hmm. And Queen and Kennedy.
Yeah.
Those are the two main, there's always problems there.
And the funny thing you're saying that is that I think it was Wednesday, I was walking, and I saw a guy who almost got into 3 different accidents. I posted on my Insta story.
Yes, you did. Yeah, I saw that.
I was just like, I can't believe this just happened. And that's a big reason.
You know what's funny? When you posted that, do you remember Jesse that we used to work with at Metro? He was one of the grocery guys.
Remotely is the one who played music?
Did he play music? I can't remember if he played music or not. Anyways, as soon as I saw your posts, he was up the road at Changi Court. And an accident had just happened there at the same time that you were posting at Steele's and Kennedy.
That's crazy.
I'm like, how are 2 different things happening literally within a kilometer from each other?
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if the accident that I almost saw was caused
by that guy, right?
Yeah, because he was turning left, and he turned left on, I wouldn't even say, it was on a red light, but the other side was already doing an advanced green, right? So it's just like, what are you doing?
And I find that whenever somebody is too late, right, when they start pulling out the turn, and then all of a sudden it goes red, and they're in the middle of the road, instead of just being like, oh, I need to get out of the way, they go, I'm frozen.
Yeah.
I'm a deer in headlights. And it's like, buddy, you're in the middle of the road, you're making it worse for everybody.
You already did it. You have
keep going.
You have to keep going. You're already in the middle of the road. If you take the test, if you read the book, if you're already out there before the light, it's your right away.
And people don't pay attention. The other day, I'm waiting for the bus at Steele's and Kennedy, and a truck, I guess something happened to the truck. So he put his 4-ways on. He obviously had his 4-ways on. He obviously wasn't moving anywhere. You could hear him overturning the truck, right, turning the keys. There's an issue. But he was in the starting point of the turning lane, right? People were parked behind him being like, oh, is this guy going to move? And then once they realized he wasn't moving, honking their asses off, throwing the middle finger, giving them the bird and stuff. I'm like, guys, he obviously can't move the truck. you're not paying attention and you're getting yourself so angry for no reason.
It's crazy. Like, I think, on my last episode, my guest episode, I love people watching, as weird as that sounds.
I do too. I love people watching. People are interesting.
People are interesting.
Go to Walmart and just look around.
The thing is, you said Walmart. There's a site called People of Walmart.
Oh, yeah, I've been on there. I've been on there a few times.
So
yeah.
It's kind of wild where you just watch people and then you're just like, damn, we all exist.
You're right. We're all here.
You were the fastest one. How?
Right.
Right? Just being a little bit mean. But I did a post recently, and I'm going to hit you with a lightning question right now. Am I a nice, mean person, or am I a mean, nice person?
You're a nice, mean person.
You think I'm a nice, mean person?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You're saying I'm a mean guy?
No. I'm saying that you're nice, but you tell it as it is when you need to.
Okay.
Right? And that not necessarily makes you mean. Like, obviously that would come off as mean to most people, right? Especially in this snowflake society that we're living in. But people mistake honesty with insult a lot. Right? And listen, just because I'm telling you something, I'm not trying to insult you. I'm trying, not even educate you. I'm just trying to make you aware of how I perceive you.
Exactly.
Right? And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Right?
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know this is how I'm perceiving you.
Exactly. And I think that's a big thing with growth, because if you're seeing me that way, right, who else is seeing me that same way?
Right. Exactly. If one person is saying this, who else is feeling this, right? And that's like a lot. And now I'm going to talk about my father. My father, right?
Okay.
My father's been married twice, engaged 3-4 different times,
Jeez.
but yet he's never the problem.
Oh.
It's that. It's all that. He's never the problem. Everyone else is the problem. Dad, you've gone through how many divorces and how many women? I think you might be the problem.
Yeah. See, the thing is, guys, ladies, whatever you identify as, I'm offended right now, so this podcast actually
this is over. This is done.
This is why I don't travel. Everyone comes to my place. I'm clearly kidding, but we're going to transition. Just the family structure, too. Like, sometimes you are the problem, right? Sometimes there's incorrectable differences where you kind of part ways, right? And being in that scenario, you will realize eventually that you are the problem. Whether you admit it or you don't admit it, sooner or later, it's going to come to pass.
Right.
What do you think about that thought? What's your thought on that?
I feel like for some people, they just choose to be blissfully ignorant for the rest of their lives. Right?
I
Absolutely. But I think when you do realize, oh, you know what, maybe I do have a problem, and you want to fix that problem, you're already becoming a better person.
I agree.
100%. Once you realize that here's the mistake, how do I fix this mistake? You're already taking the first steps. That means you do care, right? But I feel like we're living in this society where, oh, you've made a mistake. That's it. You're over. You're done in the ground. Oh, you're sorry? We don't care you're sorry. Right? That's what we want to hear, but we don't care.
And that's the craziest thing, too, right? They'll push for someone to apologize, and it's just like, well, you still did it. Well, you still did it. So that's why you see the people who don't apologize, or maybe sometimes they even ignore it, and then they just come back, and everyone's like, oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, you're back, right? But it's like, no, like, if we're going to hold people accountable for the things that they do, we also need to be accepting of forgiveness as well. It's so easy to throw someone against the wall, but it's so hard to forgive somebody.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, like, people don't understand, or I can't say people, we don't know how many people, whatever, and it doesn't really matter what your ideologies are. It's that everyone makes mistakes. And
everyone? Who doesn't? You've shown me a perfect human being.
Only Jesus Christ.
Even Jesus made mistakes, man.
Yeah, well, it depends what you count as a mistake. But
right.
Yeah, you know.
But I mean, like, Jesus was.
Did some
the idea was Jesus was also human as well.
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
right? You know, he had haters.
Right,
so,
yeah.
you know, if Jesus has haters, you could have haters, right? You're not perfect. And Jesus is supposed to be perfect.
But, and that's another thing is, the people who automatically, because yes, okay, there's people who can come and tell you, like, this is how I feel about you. It doesn't automatically necessarily mean they're right.
Yeah.
Right? I can tell you right now that I'm currently going through something with somebody personal, and they have said these things about me, and certain things that they've said, I've agreed with, but a lot of what they said, I'm like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, right? You're so off base, right? And other people that I've discussed with about this, because it's a big deal that it's been in my life, have also said, like, well, you know, where the hell is any of this coming from, right? So it's hard so sure, somebody can come to you and be like, hey man, I have a problem with you because of this, doesn't always necessarily mean everything they're saying is 100% right.
And you know what? I'm going to transition to a story, because the thing is sometimes people project something that might not be comfortable with them, and you're doing, and you're doing it, and you're okay with it, and people are like, that's not okay. So I'll give you an old story. So I met a friend when I went to a bar for my friend's birthday. I brought a friend. Keeping everybody anonymous because I'm not trying to.
Yeah, we're not trying to start any problems with this little podcast.
So the people who are in this story know. So I got completely shit faced at this bar. Like I was 1000% a menace. I was hitting on anything that was attractive.
Was this the other day?
No.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
I didn't hit on anyone 2 days ago, but I was outside. The bottom of the summer outside. Actually, the last person that I was talking to. I reached out to them, and I said that was my motto, and she's like, oh, so you're going to be in the streets this summer? And I'm like, keeping the streets safe. Right? Because the thing is, you got to tell the truth. I might be in the streets. I don't know if I'm going to be in the streets, but the streets are a safer place with me. But back to the story. So a couple of weeks ago, I met up with a friend, and then we went to see Dead Mouse, and then my friend asked me how I met that friend. So I went to this story where I got super drunk at my friend's birthday party. It was at the freaking like forever ago, right? And I brought a friend, and I was super wasted, and I was hitting on one of my friend's friends, and I was really drunk, and I accidentally like touched her hand, right? But her hands were like really soft, right? So so like I grabbed her hand, I'm like, oh my gosh. Yes, so if I wasn't drunk, I probably wouldn't have done that, right? So I did it, right? And she's turned all red and shit. And then my friend's like, whoa, dude, that's creepy, right? And I'm just like, I'm drunk, and I'm like, what? This is not creepy, right? So I turn over to her, and I'm like, was that creepy? And then she's like, no. Right? And I'm like, just because you wouldn't do it and you think it's creepy, I'm fine with it. She's fine with it. You know.
Right.
You know. Just
but
don't win the vibe here.
That's the line, though, right? It's
the truth.
The thing is, though, she liked it because she was like, "Oh, this is a nice guy." But any other person in any other situation, right, could also go the same way of, "No, that was fucking creepy, David." Yeah, it just depends on who it is.
Oh no, you dropped my guppy. No, it's okay. Like my recent guest keeps dropping my guppy, but
what did I say? Sorry,
no, you said my name.
I did?
It's okay. It doesn't matter.
I said David?
You did it again.
Well, you're editing it.
No, it doesn't matter.
Oh.
It's an inside joke.
Oh, it's an inside. Oh, okay. All right. It's not David. There is no David.
I have no idea who David is. It's me. The podcast.
The podcast. I am a disembodied voice.
Yeah, but that's the thing with the truth, right? The truth varies in the situation, right? Because obviously, in that scenario, that girl was attracted to me.
Exactly.
So me grabbing her hand, me complimenting on how soft her hands are. We're holding hands.
Right, essentially, right? She wanted you to hold her hand.
Yeah,
right?
But
she was digging it.
You know, if she wasn't attracted to me...
Oh, it could have been a whole... It could have been here, right? Or it could have been, holy crap.
Yeah,
right?
What is this guy doing?
What? Excuse me? Did I give you permission to hold my hands? I'm feeling assaulted right now.
Exactly, and I would have definitely got kicked out of the bar, but... long story short, I was crazy that night, and I talked to like a lot of people. I'm not gonna expose myself completely, but that's how I met that other friend.
Right.
I ended up hitting on her, and we're friends. That's how we became friends.
There you go.
Right?
That's awesome.
So that's the thing. What I say about the truth, like I say that I say the truth maybe 95% of the time, because when you tell the truth, you don't have to remember shit. Right? Because if someone says that you did something, if you didn't do that, you're just like,
I didn't do that.
I don't think I did that.
Yeah.
I don't think I did that. You're fucking lying. But when you're lying, you gotta keep remembering.
Oh, it's stressful.
and
it's
you
so
have your
stressful.
whole back line.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's why I don't mind if you drop my gubby, because I'm pretty sure I mentioned my name a couple of times, and other people have mentioned my name a couple of times. So, do people know that I'm dropping I have a podcast? Yeah, I post it on Facebook.
Right, of course.
I post it on Instagram. You know,
right?
It's the internet, but you know,
I'd rather be truthful too. You know what I mean? Like even I were talking before, and I was telling you, I just got a raise.
Mm.
When I went into the office with my boss, I was like, Tony, straight up, man, I'm not going to give you the whole facade and the whole, small talk. Let's just cut to the bullshit, blah, blah. And I even said to him, I said, listen, man, I know I'm asking for 70. I'm really expecting 60.
Oh, damn.
Right? I was straight up with him, right? I'm like, yo, man, I'm saying 70, but, if you give me 60, I'm cool with that too. And how did he respond? He responded with, if I can get you that 70, I'm going to give you that 70.
See,
you know what I mean? And I feel like honesty works, because that's the relationship I have with my boss. Is I'm just honest with him. Hey, Tony, this is what's going on right now, and I'm going to tell you the truth. This is the situation, right? And I find that anytime that I go to him honestly, he's less likely to freak out or go off the wall or anything like that. Not that he goes off the wall often, right? But I find if I go to him and I'm honest, I get a lot more done and a lot more out there. As opposed to certain people who just kind of beating around the bush, blah, blah. No, I know not too long ago, I was we were having a meeting, and he was like, can all this get done by this time? I'm like, Tony, can I be honest with you, man? He goes, yeah, of course, go for it. I said, we need more people in the office. We don't have enough people to get all this done by the time you want it done. And he was like, okay, I'll take that into consideration. And that's it. And now, after saying that, he has now looked into more of now we really need somebody here. As opposed to I could have been like, okay, yeah, let's get the work done, guys. You know what I mean? No, it's always much better, and it's like you said, it's less stressful. There's less shit for you to have to keep. That being said, though, there are situations where you should just shut your mouth. Shut the fuck up, right? Do you really want this headache in your life right now?
Yeah.
Then you tell that lie.
Yeah.
You tell that lie.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, right? We're getting near the end of the truth series of this segment, but ultimately, a majority of the time, if you're just being a straight shooter and you're telling the truth, it's less of a hassle and you're not wasting your time.
Right.
Whether it's work, whether it's pursuing a person, just be honest with them. It's working, it's not working. I like my job, I don't like my job. I think I need a raise, I'm gonna quit, etc., etc.
Right. And I also find not even just telling the truth, but taking the truth.
That's it.
Right? And I find when somebody is self-aware, they can take the truth a lot easier than as somebody who's not self-aware. Right?
Yeah.
I like to pride myself on being self-aware. Now, several members of my family are self-aware. And I like the fact that when somebody says, hey man, I'm fucking lazy. I'm a lazy pothead who needs to be motivated more on the things that he wants to do. No problem admitting that. I know that about myself. I'm not an idiot, and I can take that truth. But if you went to somebody else that isn't self-aware and you were to say, listen, man, you're a lazy pothead that needs to work harder on the things that he wants to do. Ooh, who do you think you are to tell me? And blah, blah. Hey, man, we all got shit to deal with. I get it. I've been there. But you're a lazy pothead that doesn't fucking do anything with his life.
And maybe you should get going with
right?
that.
And I have, and to be totally honest, a lot, it's, you don't know what's going on in my life.
I don't
No, but a lot, there has been a lot going on. I've told you, right? I've recently, I went through a big breakup, right? I'm now single, single parent. And now I've recently gotten the raise at my job, right? So ever since my life has kind of been flipped around, right now that I've been on my own, I've been able to explore myself a little bit more, kind of come back, because in the relationship that I was in, I lost myself.
You think so?
I gained 60 pounds, right? Right. I was, at the beginning of this year, I was 265. Today, I'm 244, right? So I've been working out, right? There's this thing on the Oculus, it's called Supernatural. It's like a whole working out app. I've been more motivated to be I want to get up and do something. And I actually, since I've been doing it, I feel like I have more energy. The ideas now have started to come, flowing back to my head and stuff. So I definitely have been seeing, I am doing a change. I am making a change, right? I'm finally being okay, I wasted my 20s, right? But you know what? I think you should waste your 20s. I think this whole idea, if you want to work hard in your 20s, go and work hard in your 20s, right? if you want to waste your 20s, waste your 20s, right? It's your 20s, right? You should be having fun anyways, right? And now I feel like, okay, I did what I wanted to do in my 20s. Now it's time to let's get this shit going.
Damn, that's a lot. That's a lot. So, yeah, I don't know how.
There was a lot of things I threw in there, right? You can jump off from the family, the single father.
No, it's cool because I'm trying to think of like my 20s because at times I think I wasted my 20s because like I've been at my workplace.
Well, who cares if you did? Yeah, you know what I mean? You have stories from your 20s that you're going to be telling for the rest of your life. You know?
I know, but the thing is like I worked a good chunk of my 20s, right? 7 years. I've been at my current.
When did you start working? When was the first time you got your first job? How old were you?
I got a weird ass job. I think I was like 18. I was working in Mississauga. I was like a cleaner.
Okay.
Yeah, and I lasted at that job for like 2 weeks. they said I was using too much water, and they were probably
using too much water to clean.
Yeah, I used way too much water.
Oh, he's using too much of the tap water.
Yeah.
It's costing us more to pay him.
Fuck, bro. And like every
night,
messed up. I was busing, right? So every night. Right when I left, I had to run for the bus because it was the last bus. Right?
Of course, yeah.
Back in the day, Mississauga Transit wasn't the best, and I'd run right after mopping all that shit in this fucking bakery, and I'm running. Luckily, I did track. 15 minutes of running just to catch the bus, and it's just like, oh, the bus comes in 2 minutes, or I can see the bus. Oh shit!
Yeah,
right?
gotta run, gotta run.
And it's just like, yeah, we don't need you anymore. Like, fuck. Right, but we have a bunch of different work stories, but just to kind of condense it, like my most recent job, because I'm the type of person I like to be comfortable where I am, right, and I want to make it work, and that's a strength and it's also a weakness because there's some times where you have to fucking let go of shit, right, and this is me with my old wisdom for my younger viewers, that sometimes things aren't going to work, right. You could try your best, but the other party is not interested, and you gotta leave it alone. Yeah. There's a whole thing called the Sunken time fallacy, right? And that's another reason why a lot of people stay in their jobs or their relationships or whatever. It's because you put so much time, you put so much effort. When is it gonna work, right? And you have to be able.
You got to make it work for yourself.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's what I've learned.
You have to see the light and be like, okay. If I stick around, will things actually change, right? Is what I'm trying to do in line with whoever or whatever I'm trying to do. Like recently, me at work, things have gotten better for me. Hopefully I do get a promotion, right? But I'm at that crossroads where if it doesn't happen this year, I'm out.
Yeah.
Right?
I was there too.
Yeah.
Up until a couple weeks ago, I was like, if I'm not getting this promotion that I deserve, I'm out.
Yeah. Like, I went to my bosses a couple of months ago, because I've been on afternoons for, 2 months now. I told them, listen, I got my resume professionally done. If you don't move me off nights, I will be quitting. Right? 3 weeks later, they took me off nights. And I've been suffering for 3.5 years. And finally, off nights. So now I'm outside. I'm outside. So sometimes this is going back to truth where it's just like you have to be very blatant with people because especially if you're in a mega corporation, like my workplace is a mega corporation because we do shipping and handling for Shoppers Drug Mart, now Loblaws because Loblaws owns 51%.
Oh yeah, Loblaws owns how much things is all Loblaws own, right?
Exactly. So it's just like I'm just another cock. I don't say cock.
I'm just another cock in the machine.
Right? I'm fucking around that word. Literally. I hope things be fucking right because I'm a cock in the machine. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with that.
Do you ever? So me and David know each other from Leger, obviously, but we also worked together at Metro for a good chunk of our lives. Do you ever miss the Metro days?
You know what I miss about the Metro days? It's the constant stream of new people, right?
Yes.
Because in my current workplace, because I move so much around, I kind of know everybody, and we have 800 plus people, right? So I know a lot of people, but it's the random people.
Right, who all of a sudden like, oh, new guy started, right?
Yeah.
And we all get together and we all start like, hey man, what do you like? What do you like to do?
Yeah.
What do you do? Who do you know? Oh, you know this guy, I know that guy. You know, it's kind of like figuring out like what this person's all about, and then hell, if you're working there, this is your work buddy now, right?
Yeah.
This is the person you're gonna be working alongside, taking shifts, working together, you know, getting things done, right?
Like,
for me, the one thing I miss the most is the people.
Yeah.
Right? Not just the new people, but the people we used to work with. Right? Like, you know, Ennio and Wolf, you know, Wolfie and we used to work with some great fucking guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sometimes you wonder like where are they now? Like
right, yeah, what are they doing now? You know what I mean? And we fucked up a lot, you know. Just to say that job was so easy to just not do anything because everything could get done in like an hour. You know what I mean? Like everything could get done quick. As long as our work was done, we didn't care. We were talking, right? And you know what? You remember Wayne, right? Wayne was pretty, you know, he was pretty chill for the most part. For the most part,
the fucking other guy. I don't remember.
What? Jeremy.
Yeah, that guy was a dude.
That guy,
you know,
man.
he's the biggest reason why I left. And the thing
I remember you had the whole notebook and you were writing everything down.
I was ready to report.
Yeah, you were ready.
That was like, I don't know if that was like 2013, 2014, but we're out there snitching, guys. I don't care if you're anti-snitching. Sometimes you gotta snitch.
100%.
You gotta snitch
Jeremy,
because certain people are there to just try to fuck up your life, right? Some people, they see that shine in you and they want to stab that shit out because they're a fucking hater, and it's fine if they're a hater. You just gotta do certain things to grow yourself, bro. Every summer, everyone's trying to give me shits. And that nigga was blocking me.
Yeah,
he was blocking me for
no
reason. I had to go to uni. I went to uni. I got free money because he was giving people with less seniority.
You were dealing with Charlie too, weren't you?
I didn't have a problem with Charlie.
No. I meant like because Charlie was the union guy, so you were dealing with that. Yeah. That's another guy I missed. I love Charlie. Right? If you had an issue, Charlie was like right there.
Yeah. So like the thing with work and even connections, like you have to make sure you make your connections. You can't step on everybody's toes. Because like me. Like now I'm a part of management, which is fucking hilarious, right?
Yeah.
But you know, like complain about my boss for fucking 4 years.
Oh then, shit! Now I'm the boss.
Now I'm a boss, but I think I'm a pretty cool boss. Like some people from my workplace check out my podcast. One of the members of the 5 Youth Gang is from.
I've seen, yeah.
So you know. I think I'm a pretty cool boss.
You got when I saw when I went on your page, one of your videos has like 50 views.
Yeah, you know, we're working on it, and the thing is,
you're getting there.
It's like audio only too, right? Because I don't do video. I get a little bit anxious.
To be totally honest, if I was a little more prepared, I was actually going to suggest if you wanted to do video for this.
Okay, so you know what? Part 2 with Chris Hollywood is going to be the first and maybe only video episode.
Yeah, okay. You know what? I'm fine with that.
Because the thing is, I'm not ugly. But I don't like being the camera. I'm like one of those people who gets stiff.
I love the camera.
I get stiff and I'm like, I'm acting.
I get it. I remember, oh man, there's some people, I remember when I was working at I used to work for a green screen studio, and a student had rented the green screen for their student film or whatever, right? So it was a young man, right? He brought all of his friends. I didn't know exactly what he was filming, right? I was busy doing my own thing. But I was like, you know, kind of like watching him, watching his friends and stuff like that. And my boss was helping them as well, right? Because he's like, young guy, I'm going to help the kid out. And when they were filming stuff, the one friend was obviously very nervous or had ideas about what acting really, what it looks like, right? And when they were trying to get her to do like one thing, you could tell that she thought she was stupid because she was acting. Right? So she flipped her shit. She was just like, I can't do this, I'm not doing it. Literally after only 5 seconds. She was only on camera for 5 seconds, and then she was doing it, and then she goes, I feel so stupid, I'm not doing this, blah, 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 blah. And I can see my boss turn around, right? Like, touch his forehead. But some people, it's so hard for them to like be in front of the camera because they think I'm stupid right now. And acting is not stupid. Everybody acts, you know what I mean? Everyone, in daily life, everybody acts, right? Yeah. Everyone's got a mask. Everyone puts on a face. Yeah. Right? This is what I was saying the other day to my family. I was like, everybody has 2 faces, right? They got the mask that they put on in public, and then they got the face where when they're with someone comfortable or they're with, their friends or their people, right? But even me, man, when I go out, I try to portray myself as this cool, dude, right? Look at me, everybody, blah, blah, blah. I'm eccentric, right? Right, yeah. But in reality, right, everyone knows me as this, this pothead movie aficionado. You know what I mean? I'm not that cool. I'm a geek. You know what I mean?
Like, the thing is that's the whole concept of cool, right? Because everybody knows I'm black, right? But the thing with a lot of black guys is, or people don't understand that almost, I could say 95% of black guys are nerds. 95%.
Oh, 100%?
Like, if you ask almost any black guy, hey, you watch anime?
Right, that's literally
it. A good
it.
chunk of them talking about anime, or they watch anime at a point.
Yes.
Right? But the thing with a lot of black people, from what I see, is that it doesn't matter what they like, they're really into it. And that's what I see as being cool. If you're passionate about something and you don't care about how people view you, it puts you as a different person. And I think that's me. That's you, right? Like, I do things the way that I want to because that's how I am. And
right.
I get in trouble for it. I get people staring at me. I got people commenting on I do things weirdly, but do I get shit done?
Right.
I get that shit done.
You would consider yourself a geek, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've always known that I was a geek. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's not something that was a surprise to me.
Mm.
But the difference between, I think, a lot of other people, when they hear that term attributed to them, they don't like it. They get, they're like, no, I'm not a nerd, right, or a geek or anything. Me, I wear it like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
I am a geek.
The thing is, I'm a big nerd,
right.
but I'm hybrid. Like, I will go and play soccer. I will go.
Yeah. It doesn't stop me from wanting to do other things.
I fucking climbed the mountain.
But yes, I am a geek.
But, I also spent 170 hours playing Dragon Quest
right.
X because I fucking love Dragon
Right.
Quest.
Or I've spent $1,000 on freaking posters.
Exactly.
Right? Because I'm a geek.
Yeah, and you have to be passionate about the things that you love, right? So, even with your mask analogy, I think the Japanese has a term for the same thing, but they say you have 3 masks. So, the first mask is what you show the outside.
Right.
Right? The second mask is what you show your family, and then your third mask is how you truly are. All right?
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's better than my analogy. Yeah.
It's okay. It's hundreds of or thousands of.
There's thousands. Right? Oh, that's another thing. Oh man, see, this is another thing. Is people like my brother. I love my brother. Just Carlos, I love you. This isn't a shit talking against you.
He's gonna.
He's gonna. Hey, what are you saying about me? But there's people who have many different walks, different ways of going about life, ideals. This is the great thing about life, that there's many different ways. I don't believe that there is one true way to go about life.
Yeah.
There are many, many, many infinite possibilities of how for you to go about life.
Yeah.
Many bad ways, many good ways, many okay ways, right? Mm-hmm. And this is what, when people start having conflicting ideologies, I don't understand just because we have different ideologies doesn't mean I hate you. I don't hate you. Now, yes, there are right and wrong things. There are absolute right and wrongs. Mm-hmm. Then there's a gray area in the middle, right? Obviously, if you believe that black people and Jewish people and all those kinds of people deserve to be enslaved, killed, below white people, that is absolute wrong, right? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Well, in your view, right? Some people might think that's right, and you're just a weird new age guy.
Right, but I'm sorry, that is hateful, right? When it comes down, when it starts becoming hateful, that's when you're in the wrong.
That's definitely interesting perspective.
Right?
I'm not saying I disagree with you, but
because for me, everyone's like, people who are racist. It's so hard for me to comprehend because we're human beings. We all live on planet Earth. Wait till the aliens come, and then you tell me if that black guy is the problem, that Asian person is the problem, that Indian person is the problem. Yeah. No. Then it's going to become us versus them.
Yeah. That's the same thing with whether you're a spiritual person, whether you're demons, right? When the demons come, when it comes to just...
We're all on the same boat.
Right? We all are on the same boat. And the thing, too, is I can understand racism to an extent, but how I see racism is just bliss and ignorance. Right, so we'll use Brampton for example, because we're Brampton boys. When we were growing up, Brampton had a lot of Portuguese people.
Yes.
People complained about Portuguese people.
Oh yes.
People said that they were loud. People said they're always in the driveways. Oh my gosh, we're at Tim Hortons.
Turn down your Honda Civic.
Kids, right? Blah blah blah. Now fast forward, it's 2022, and it's the same thing, but it's brown people.
It's the East Asian community. Yeah.
See the brown people. They're everywhere. They're talking everywhere. They're loud, right? So it's just, I see it as people see too much of another group or a group that
they're not
don't
used to,
necessarily
right? Right.
And then it just grows, and then it's a lot of small things building up. Does it justify their behavior? Absolutely not.
No.
But if you look into it hard enough, you can understand it, but you need to talk with that person to change their mind, because sometimes people go through a bad experience, and then after they are jaded from those type of people until they run into someone who's not like that, and then they kind of remember that we're all humans.
Right, but there's even racists, right? There's even like white hick Louisiana type guys that are friends with black guys. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, sure, I don't like I don't know if you've ever heard of the man. I can't remember his name right now, but he's converted a whole bunch of KKK members.
Yeah, the black guy, right?
Yeah, the black guy. You know what I mean? One of the head Klansmen is like, I don't like black guys, but this is the only black guy's hand I will shake because, because he can, even though, yes, it goes against his ideologies, he understands, he likes this guy's mind, right? He knows he can have a conversation with this man, regardless of whether he's black or white. He likes what this man has to say.
Yeah,
right. And
I was explaining to one guy, because it's just like, this is a white stereotype, but there's the whole, even if you Google it,
stereotypes exist for a reason.
The whole thing about white flight, right? So
white flight.
You never heard about white flight?
No, I don't
it's
think
like
so.
When an area becomes too urban. Like if you Google it, it's a Google term.
Isn't that
gentrification? Is when you make a lot of high rise buildings and like high value property near like a ghetto area or a low income place, right? But white flight is like, we'll use Brampton for example. When there started becoming too many Indian people, a lot of people moved out of Brampton. They sold their houses and they went to like Halton region,
Georgetown,
because they're tired of brown people, right? So I was talking to my one friend. I'm like, okay, so you're talking about this about white people, that about white people, but imagine you move up north, like 6 hours north. You're past Sudbury, right? Because Sudbury is becoming more urban, right? It's the Toronto of the north, right? But imagine you go somewhere, and then it's all your people. Then another group
comes in,
and then they start complaining about a lot of stuff because
ever since they moved in, this has been happening, right?
No. It's more like, like say you move out east. Oh, there's nothing spicy here. Oh, there's no stuff for my hair.
Right.
Of course, there's gonna be nothing for your
it's all hair. White country.
Nobody like you has been here. Right. Imagine, someone's coming and complaining about your towel all the time. You're gonna kind of not like that person, right? Because it's just like, we don't know you, we've never seen people like you, and now you're trying to force your ideologies on us when we have no fucking clue what you're talking about.
Right.
What the fuck is a defrizzer? My hair's flat.
Right. If you need something, come to us, ask us.
Or bring it with you. So that people can know. Right? Because you're there. But that's the problem with certain people too. They'll come and they'll expect, like, this is like a whole city person versus country person. You're going out in the country, stuff's going to be closed at 6.
Yeah.
Stuff's going to be closed at 8.
Yeah. You're not living in the city.
There's no fucking nightlife, right? Yeah. So if you're going to come to the country, if you're not going to build that, don't complain, because that's how it is. You
go back.
How it is.
Right. Go back where you came from.
Basically, because it's not going to be there unless you want to establish it or you want to modernize it. But we're going to transition into passions, right? Because I'm here. We're talking about being geeks, and maybe even nerds, right? But there's even a war on words with nerds and geeks. But anyways, that just shows
I think I saw something recently that there's... teabagging. I don't know if you heard about this now. Apparently, because now we have VR, we have the Oculus and things, the metaverse, things are becoming. Now there's a conversation of whether teabagging can be considered sexual assault.
It's gaming culture. I call it gaming culture.
Right? Yeah. But oh my god, I virtually fucking
I was doing it before.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Right? Like, we were like, today's generation would not survive a 2007 Call of Duty lobby.
Combo.
Yeah, that
right?
You know what I mean.
They ban stuff in the chat too, and then you could get reported for saying stuff like, I remember telling people I was gonna fuck their mom, and now I'm the age where if I say that I'm gonna fuck their mom, I could probably
now you probably fuck their mom. No, that's not me telling. That's a fact.
It's a fact. I'm coming after your moms.
You better watch out, guys. David's out there.
Oh shit!
Better watch the summer
It's
streets.
summertime, man. I gotta keep it safe out there, and your mom's looking lonely. But anyways, back to the passion. So you're a big movie guy.
Yes.
So what started your fascination about movies? Because I'm here, I'm looking in your room right now.
Yes.
You got the Mummy poster. You got the Evil Dead
Which is signed by Bruce Campbell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh jeez, right? See, it's signed and it's framed, so you know it's legit.
Yes.
Right. There's a lot of movie-oriented stuff in here.
The Metal Gear poster is the newest one that I recently got.
Yeah,
so I am a big movie guy, right? Yeah. But yes, I love movies. I love video games. I love music. I love entertainment, right? And celebrityism as well. I love celebrities. I love the lifestyle of celebrities, right? Entourage is one of my favorite TV shows that when I watch Entourage, it makes me feel like I need to do this, right? This is the life that has always been meant for me. And for me, it stems very, very young age, right? Since I was like 5, 6 years old, my father, one of the few things that the man gave to me is my love of movies, because he used to come home with literally stacks of 20 VHSs from his buddy, because his buddy used to be a big movie guy. So before he would come home, he'd stop off at his buddy's house and just go through it like he's at Blockbuster, pull out 20 movies, and then bring them home, and I would sit there and watch all these movies. Right, this is where my love of it started. And then I'm like, I love movies. I just want to consume. When I was younger, I was like, I just want to consume any kind of movie. Right. I remember recently I told this story. I got grounded for watching Constantine. Right, in 2004, 2005, which is funny when I look back on it. I'm like, I was like 12 years old by that point. Constantine is like so like mild compared to now, especially.
Yeah, the ratings have changed.
But yeah, I didn't care. I knew that I was going to get in trouble if I got caught watching this movie, and I could care less, because to me it wasn't about what was in the movie. I just needed to. This is another new movie that I need to see, right? To feed this passion of movie making, right? And I always kind of was like, I wanted to be in the industry. I always knew I wanted to be in the movie industry, whether that was going to be acting, writing, editing, director, anything. I knew I'm going to be in the industry. And there was a little time where I wanted to be a video game designer. And I'd come up with this idea when I was in grade 6 and grade 7 for a game that never ends. It's going to be called Eternity, right? So think of pretty much early day DLC, before DLC was like even a big thing, right? So that was my idea, was the game was going to create new quests and new, I had this whole story. It was based in fantasy, like Lord of the Rings, because I was a big Lord of the Rings fan. And I drew out like the HUD, I drew out creatures, the map, right? Character bios and stuff like that. I ended up losing everything. I can't remember what happened to it, but I ended up losing my binder full of this stuff. And I was like, do I really want to make video games? Or do I want to make movies? I'm like, I want to make movies. So I took the idea that I already had, and I started writing a script. And that was the beginning of me being like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I want to make movies. Yeah. Right? And I started co-op in 2010, 2011. I went back to Leger, and I was like, if I'm going back, I'm going to do co-op. And I can't remember the teacher's name, but the co-op teacher, she ended up finding a production company that did mostly weddings and like corporate videos and stuff like that. Sebastian, 45 Productions. He still has his thing. But that was, for me, that was the beginning of my foot into the industry. And even just like sitting there and editing wedding videos and being allowed like creative freedom doing that, I'm like, yeah, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. And then I left college, so I went to college for a semester for the television program, because my buddy was taking it, and he told me, you should take this program. And I would go and help him with his projects. So that was another thing. Anybody had any film thing going on, I'd be like, I was the first one to put my hand up.
Okay, I gotta hit you up.
Right? I was like, I'll come and help. Right? Whatever you need me to do. You want me to act? You want me to do this? You want me to do that? Like, I'll go and help. So when I was so I did one semester, my problem is I have ADHD, and I don't like sitting down and listening to somebody kind of go on, right? And I'm hands-on, right? I need to actually be working, be in the thick of it. So I got offered by my mom. She had a customer who had a green screen studio, and he needed an intern. So I was like, do I want to go back next semester, or do I want to go work for this guy? I'm like, I want to work for this guy. And sure enough, first week I was working, we did a shoot with Hard Rock Hotel. And it was a Hard Rock Hotel / Treehouse.
Treehouse?
Yeah. So I worked with Barney, Thomas the Train Engine, right? Whatever that ballerina mouse was, right? That was like my first week working there, right? And I've done 24-hour shoots like overnight, right? And I learned a lot at that job. And I was working on my reel, right? Because I thought maybe I'd look for another job. And this kids CBC show used the studio to film their first season, right? And it was like a working out kind of like one of those kind of kid shows. It was called Jigga Jump, right? I know, a little racist, right? Yeah. All the time I was like, yo, Jigaboo?
I know what you guys are trying to do.
Yeah, I know what you guys, right? White Jewish people. Jigga Jump.
Jigga Jump. Oh my god.
The mascot was a kangaroo, right? So I recently went to go look to see if the videos were on YouTube, and my name is in the credits.
Oh, wow.
Right? Because I helped them out with anything that, they needed, right? They needed food, they needed the lights, they needed this, that. Hell, there was times where I had keys to the place, right? Like, my boss trusted me that much that, like, I used to sleep there, I could spend, nights there, but yeah, I recently found out that my name is in these credits. Right? I'm like, how can I get an IMDb page? Can I get an IMDb page off of this?
That's crazy.
And then now, the job I got now, the guy who told me to take the college course, he was looking for people because he had just started this television company, and it was between me and one other guy, and I got it. Right? And I've been there since, and I've done a lot while I was there. Now, the last couple of years have definitely been tough. COVID. Me feeling unappreciated and overworked, things going on in my personal life, right? Just there was a lot. There was a lot of things that kind of culminated. Now I definitely feel better than ever about where I'm heading in my career now.
Wow. Than
I ever have before. There was a period there, and yeah, sure, I wasn't really like. I guess I could have been making YouTube videos and stuff like that. But I don't want to make YouTube videos. I want to make movies and TV shows. And sure, you know what? Call me, an idiot for being like, oh, why don't you take those first steps? Nah, man. There's people. Quentin Tarantino, who's my favorite, right? I love Quentin Tarantino. He's my number one favorite director. When I saw Inglourious Basterds in theaters, that's when I knew I wanted to be a director, right? So I always knew I wanted to be in the industry, but it wasn't until I saw Inglourious Basterds, and as it was over, I was like, this is what I wanted. I want to make movies that impact. The impact this movie just had on me, I want to be able to do that for other people, right? I want to help other people get their stories out, and I want to get my stories out, regardless of what it is. I want to tell whatever stories I want to tell. And sure, yeah, okay, I haven't really been making YouTube videos, but I made a lot of videos with my job, right? That goes on air, that people see and stuff like that. So, yeah, sure, my work may not be able to be seen by everybody, but you know what? Just wait.
Yeah.
Just wait.
We're going to wait. And the thing is, this is going to be like an old interview when you do...
Oh, yeah. People are going to be going back.
Be like, hey, how did it... You knew a famous person before you was famous.
No, I know what I was going to say. So, going back. So, Tarantino didn't go to film school, right? He went to movies. This is his whole thing. He goes, you don't need to go to film school to tell the difference between a sandbag and a light camera. If you got a story and you got a camera, just do it, right? And you will get there. Pretty much, Quentin, so the first movie he ever made was called My Best Friend's Birthday. Piece of shit. Terrible piece of shit. Even he says, he burned all the copies, pretty much, right? He hates it. He hates that movie. But his first legit movie was Reservoir Dogs. He wrote a script. He went to these Hollywood parties because he was living in L.A., he met Jack Bender and Mr. Weinstein, who's, but at the time, it was still early days. And sure enough, they were like, this is a great script. Who the hell are you, kid? And the rest is history. The guy, and you know what? He didn't start doing it until he was in his 30s. And this is another thing, is that people think, right, you need to be... That's another thing where I hate the whole idea of...
This generation.
Right, of like, oh no, you need to be working in your 20s, right? You need to be working hard in your 20s so that, you know what? Hey, you could get famous, you could get successful at literally any point in your life. Yeah. It could take you until you're 40, 50 years old, and it will happen. Alan Rickman, if you know who Alan Rickman is, Snape from the Harry Potter series.
Yes.
He didn't start his career until he was in his 40s.
And I think the same thing with like Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson, he wasn't until... But he had been in all these things as background characters, but he kept just going out there and just doing it more and more and more to the point where it was like, we keep seeing this black guy in everything. We should be putting him in more... He should have more of an up-front role.
Yeah.
But same thing, he was older, and I hate this whole idea of people are like, no, you need to figure out what you're doing in your 20s. High school should be all about figuring out what do you want to do with your future. And it's not. Unfortunately, it's only about, they're teaching you things that you don't need to be taught.
Yeah,
right?
And they try to put you in a box, too, because I remember, like, especially at Levy, like, we had a lot of Chris's. You were movie Chris, and now you guys know why we call them movie Chris, right? But there was so many things where they kind of try to put you in a box. I remember I failed grade 11 science, so I was redoing science. And that's actually how I met Christina, I know, Kim's sister. But anyways.
Yeah.
So I remember going to that class, and I was stuck with your grade of people. And, you know, a good chunk of your grade was just annoying, like, bookworm type of people. And there's nothing wrong with bookworms, but there were people were very snobby about their grades.
Oh, man.
Right? So I was in bio class, hating everything. And there was this one chick who came to class. She came to the bare minimum of class, because I think when we were in high school, you had to make sure you came to class like at least 3 times a month, or you get removed from school. This girl came to class 3 times a month. Anytime there was like a quiz,
right, she was
and
there.
Exams. Every other time you would not see this girl. So everyone would talk shit about her. Blah 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 blah. Oh my gosh. You know,
my age?
Yeah. I'll dox the
yeah.
So right, so the 3rd time it happened, I was just like, you guys need to shut the fuck up. Every time this bitch is not here, you're saying something. She was there, right? I went off. I'm like, she's here 3 times a fucking month, and she's always in the top 5. You're not fucking smart. You guys are idiots, right?
David. Who was your teacher?
I think I had Mr. Pickering.
Oh, nice.
He fucking hated me because I just, like, every once in a while I would go off, and I'd only talk to Tina because, like, Tina was like normal and she wasn't just like, oh, I'm so smart. I'm so smart. Hey, I got an 87. Oh, you got an 84. Oh, you're gonna fail. It's just like, you're gonna pass.
You know what?
I just need this so that I can go to college. It doesn't
matter.
Right?
Yeah. That's all I cared about was as long as I passed. As long as I get my diploma at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck what mark I get.
And the thing is, if, like, let's say you're trying to go to college and you need calculus, you need bio, you need this. As long as you have a passing grade to a certain percentage level, then it doesn't matter. So you bragging about this, and like some of these people, I don't even know what they're doing with their lives now. And they're all like big. It's like, shut the fuck up. If someone could come, and that's the thing, like, the teacher's there to help guide you. All the information's in the fucking book. Yes. That's why we had someone who came 3 days in a month.
Still passive.
And she was in the top 5 marks. You're bragging about your things. You're here every single fucking day. She's going out there doing whatever, right? I didn't know her, right? But I was just tired of hearing people talk shit.
Right. Yeah.
So,
no,
I just went off.
Trust me, there was times, definitely, in high school where people, like, I got picked on a lot, for sure. But I never let it faze me or anything like that. But I do remember there was a couple times where I heard somebody talking shit and I stuck up for that person, and it always still burned me in the end. Yeah, it always still burned me.
Especially your grade. Your grade had a lot of snakes. Oh, there's a lot of snakes in
man. There was so many fucking,
It was wild.
It was wild. It definitely was wild. And, like, I remember one time I was walking home with a bunch of people, and some of the people I was walking home with was talking shit about other people that I would walk home with, because we all, everyone kind of lives in this Peel Village area, right? And I went over and I was like, listen, don't listen to what they're saying, right? Because they were close by. Like, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, blah, blah. And when I came back, they're like, what, you're going to go rat on us? Blah, blah. I'm like, you guys are talking shit about them. You don't even know them, right? They're two nice people, right? And you're sitting there calling her a slut and this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then I end up losing friends. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care. If I could go back, oh, man, I would do it so differently. I wouldn't nobody would pick on me. And I would be a lot quicker with my comebacks than I used to be. You know what I mean?
Well, that's age and experience. Because, like, you know me in high school, like, I don't know. I think I never really had a place, but I had a place everywhere just because...
Me too. I kind of felt like I wasn't like, I had, Mohan that I used to hang out with. And then, if you remember, Jessica... Flett Mitchell and right. Oh, you went to elementary school there, yeah. Her and like Andrew Simeo and that group, right? Those were kind of my two main groups that I would kind of. But I could go and talk to the Portuguese soccer guys, right? I could go and talk to the the skateboarders. I could kind of by the grade 12, everybody kind of could talk to one another.
I think every high school is different, and I think that's the blessing of Malaysia, where a lot of people are generally chill, right? Because like for me, like. I talk with everybody, but at the same time, people trying to come at me for random reasons. I got suspended for fighting every fucking year, right? Because I get enough.
I got suspended once for fighting.
But it's just like it's hard for someone to pick on you when like I'm co-president of the anime club,
which you recently told me there was an anime club. I had no fucking idea there was an anime club.
Yeah, we had the anime club, and then we were like. Doing a lot of video games.
You elitist group.
And it was always the biggest club of the year at the start of the year, right? But I was also on the track team, right? So it's just like someone's gonna try to come at me. It's like, oh, he's a nerd. He's a fucking anime club, and it's just like, oh shit, he's on the relay team. And it's like I don't know what to do. Like,
right? Yeah, it's conflicting. Can't compute.
Yeah, it's just like I want to try something. It's just like, oh, but he knows people. But it's just like
I know everybody.
So everybody's just like. Anybody who tried something, they got these hands.
That's how I felt by the time I hit grade 12. Anytime anyone would pick on me or try to, there was always somebody being like, hey, you got something to say to Chris, you got something to say to me.
Jeez.
Right?
Yeah.
Because of the way I was with everybody, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to cause problems with anybody, right? Unless it was a girl and there was a girl involved, and there might be a few problems there.
Yeah, that's why you don't. If girls are fighting, you wait till the end. You just let them fight. But I think ultimately...
The first time I ever saw girls fight was in grade 9. Grade 9, September, it was Ashley Fernandez. You remember Ashley Fernandez? And I can't remember who the other two were. But all I remember is everyone's running outside in the calf. We come outside and it was Ashley Fernandez versus these two girls. And I remember thinking, this is the first month of grade 9. I'm thinking, man, high school's going to be great.
That's it. Yeah, I dated her.
And to be totally honest, I kind of miss high school. I know a lot of people are like, oh man, I'm so glad high school is over, blah, blah. It wasn't that bad when you think about it. We had no bills to pay. I mean, I know some people have different living situations and things like that. But for me personally, the worst thing that I had to worry about was whether this chick liked me or not. That was literally the most stressful thing that I had to worry about.
Yeah, and I think
and I kind of missed having none of that stress.
That
you know what I mean?
Stress, because like for me, like I said, I got around a lot in high school, but ultimately the table formed, and that's where things kind of set off. Like the table was the table prior to high school, but it just got like more people.
It was like you, Riley, Ralston, yeah.
All of them, right?
Was Justin part of your?
Justin was like a co-member, like so, like Food Boy,
right? Food Boy, Justin,
Jesse, like we talk with them. Like I still talk to Jesse every once in a while. I haven't talked to Justin in a while. Food Boy is MIA. Like he's MIA.
He is MIA. You know what? Because I used to see him post a lot on Facebook. I haven't seen him post in a while.
He's there and then he's not there.
Yeah. Because he's a kid now, there. Right?
Yeah. That's a story for another.
Oh no!
I'll tell you about that weekend and how that happened. But so basically, I agree with you. So I know some people, they don't like high school. Like I have a friend who didn't like the high school era only because they had minimal freedoms, like a curfew and everything. But outside of high school, it was really good. But I know or I've heard because I've never been to high school in America.
That's the only thing I know about high school is my parents were also very strict. Right?
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to go out unless I was going out Friday night to the movies with my buddies. Other than that, right? Hell, I used to go by myself because I loved movies so much. Right? I went and saw Indiana Jones, Speed Racer. Like if I knew, I would tell my parents, "Oh yeah, my friends are gonna meet me there." I wasn't meeting anybody.
Yeah.
I just really wanted to see this fucking movie.
Yeah, and the thing with some movies is you can't enjoy it with other people.
I like going to the movies by myself.
Sometimes you can't enjoy it with other people, and sometimes you just want that.
You just want that space by yourself. You can sit there. You can talk. You can talk to yourself. You can analyze. You don't have to worry about is the other person enjoying themselves, right? I'm enjoying myself,
and that's all that matters.
That's it. That's all that matters. I miss when Cineplex used to be right there, right where now it's Palladium.
That's a big L.
Big L. Huge L, right? Because especially the way that Cineplex has changed Palladium. Palladium is not the same like it used to be.
Yeah.
Right? The Palladium that was Mississauga in the late 90s, early 2000s, that was prime Palladium, right?
Yeah.
Best freaking games. Do you know what's actually better than Palladium? And I actually finally went for the first time. My girlfriend bought me.
Glowzone?
No. I've been to Glowzone before. Glowzone's fun.
It's not bad.
Dave & Buster's.
Really?
Dave & Buster's, to me, that felt like the games that they had there. I'm never going back to Palladium. I'm like these are all the games that I want to play, right? These are actual. The problem that I have with Palladium now is it doesn't feel like it's about games anymore. It feels like it's about tickets. But Dave & Buster's, yeah, they have their ticket side, but fuck, man, the games that they have there, especially the old school, like the Time Crisis, House of the Dead, right?
I haven't been in a while because
like the snowboarding game where you're like on the board and stuff like that. Yeah, they even have. Do you remember the original Jurassic Park game?
Yes.
They have that there. Like I when I went, I'm like, I need to come back. Like this is the experience that I was hoping to get from there. But kind of going back to what I was saying, I miss when the theater was there because literally I would just in the summer when I wasn't working at Metro, it's 2:00. Oh, let me see what movie's playing. Oh, I want to go see that. All right, walk over there, get myself some nachos and a hot dog. Boom, I'm sitting great, right?
It was a good spot, and unfortunately,
it was the spot. Do you know that I have a seat from the theater?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So when they were doing all the renovation, I went there one night. I took a full backing, bottom, and armchairs.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's a So I love film as this is the top
guy, right?
To me, that was my first movie theater. Right. That was my home. I always kind of hoped that one day I was going to be able to show my movie in that movie theater.
Wow.
Now, obviously, that's never going to happen. So my next is Courtney Park, right? So if I ever do make a movie, I'm going to make sure Courtney Park has that. It's going to have that.
You got to let me know.
Oh, of course, right? I'm working.
I'm going to be.
Listen, I'm working on a few things right now for work because now the best way now that I've learned that if I'm going to make it in this industry is I have the opportunity with my job now to make content and have an easier way of getting it done. Because other people, if they work for, say, Warner Brothers or anything like that, they'd have to go through hoops. I want to get this movie done. Oh, okay, well, how much is it going to cost? How much is this? How much? You got to go ask this guy. You got to go ask this guy. My job, my boss. That's us, my boss, right? I have an idea. Hey, Tony, I have this script idea. I think it's going to cost this much, this, that, and the other. What do you think? Either yes or no. That's literally it. So there's a few things that I'm working on, and I'm really hoping that once he really likes the idea, and if he really likes the idea and we start moving it forward, I will guarantee you will have a ticket because I will want to do a friends and family screening here.
So am I friends or am I family?
You're both. Of course, I've known you for so long. You know what I mean? I was actually thinking about it the other day. I'm like, wow, like David. I've been thinking about it lately. I'm like, man, who are my friends? Right? Like that's another thing when you get older, right? Who your friends start changing, right? And certain people that you've been friends with, for hundreds of years, suddenly now you're not friends anymore, right? Yeah. But then there's people that you literally met a week ago and you're like, yo, this is like one of my closest friends, right? Because you have such a connection with that person, right? So with you, I've known you for we went to school together. We worked together, right? Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, if you called me up at 2:00 in the morning, you're like, hey man, I need someone to lay my head tonight. Bro, my couch is yours. You're more than welcome to come here, right? You're a lifelong.
That means a lot.
You're a lifelong family friend, pretty much, right? You're like family, for sure. right? You're one of the few people who came to my movie theater last year, right?
Yeah, it was a great thing. I wish I could have came every freaking thing.
Right. Yeah, I know. Not everybody can, not everybody can come, right? But like, you, Keith, like I don't have the friends that we used to, like when we were in high school, right? In high school, you'd be like, oh, everybody's my friend, right? But in reality, no, you only have those real, true people that support you and will stand by your side, right?
Yeah, it's a part of growing up, and I guess we can transition to that.
To getting older,
even like family structures. So, I've had a similar experience this year as well, where there was something that happened, and it made me also realize that it's just like, wow, am I really friends with these people because of the issue? We'll talk about it later. But it really opened my mind, because sometimes you'll be invited to something or you'll go to somewhere and you could feel that people want you there.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Like, I went to a last minute like cottage invite. It was supposed to be in it was supposed to be like a apartment party, and then they knew someone who was going out for the weekend. It's like, oh, you go to our cottage. Last minute plans. I went straight right after work. It was the most fun that I've had in years.
That's
with
awesome.
People that I barely, like one person I knew from the first story I told you.
Yeah.
Right? But all the other people I did not know. I worked, it was like I just transitioned back to afternoons, right? So my whole schedule wasn't really set, right? So I was still trying to get back to my regular routine, or get to a regular routine. So I was up since 6, and I was there, and I stayed up all day. I had like a tough day at work, went straight there. It was fucking amazing. I had a great time. I met some interesting, fun new people, and it was just like a really good way to be like, you know what? I'm finally off nights, and it's the first time in a while that I felt like super appreciated, right? Because, we were talking about work and, doing a lot of stuff, and it's just like, why am I doing this? Is it even fucking worth it? And then you go somewhere and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy to meet you, or, oh, you're such a cool person, and this, and you're just like, wow, there's always possibilities elsewhere. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize, because like you're talking about, oh, should I do this or should I do that? And your internship, it opened up the doors, right? Like if you stuck with school, maybe you could have still ended up in the same path.
I'd have a piece of paper.
Right?
I just have an official piece of paper that will let me get more jobs, I guess.
But the experience and the people that you kind of surrounded yourself with,
that's what got me through the door.
Yeah, and it made you grow into the person that you wanted to be, but you didn't figure out yet. Yeah. And then it also cemented what you want in your career. And it doesn't matter how long it's taking. You're one of the few people that I know that's doing something that they love all the time.
Right.
All right?
Yes, there was a period where, again, last couple of years, that I was like, oh, what the hell am I doing? Right? I'm getting paid low for all this work that I do. I feel underappreciated, this, that, and the other, blah, blah. And all it took was a simple conversation with my boss and him agreeing, right? I didn't even get the money yet, but the fact that he stood there and he was like, no, you are right. You deserve this. You deserve this. You have done this, this, this. I love the fact that you're here and that you've done all these things for me, and I want you around for. I told him, I said, I want to be here for the next 10 years, and this is what I want to do for the next 10 years.
Wow.
Right?
Right. And that's a thing that I think as you get older, it's easier to cement, right? Because I work with a lot of older people. I think the average age of people at my workplace is 45 to like 48. So there's a lot of people who regret stuff.
But loyalty goes a long way, though.
Yeah, it can.
It can.
Right? But
some people take advantage, though.
Yeah,
and this was my problem. I was like, is my boss gonna agree, or is he gonna be like, fuck you?
Yeah.
Right? No, you don't deserve that money. And it's like, okay, so you've been taking advantage of my loyalty.
But
it wasn't the case, thankfully.
You gotta figure it out, because I don't know if you remember. Remember when we were working at Metro and there was like that she was like either 13 or 14 and she started working at the deli? You remember that?
Yeah. So, I remember that. I was like, whoa. I'm like, is it legal for you to be working here?
Yeah, it was crazy. So I've talked about this in the older podcast episode, but I'm going to bring it up again. So basically, that girl worked at Metro for 2 weeks, and then she quit. She worked for 2 weeks because Metro, you get paid every week.
Yes.
And, we were talking about it. Everybody at work was talking about it. So she went to Leger, right? I was talking to my sister about the story, and she's like, "Oh, I know that girl. She goes to Leger, right?" I'm like, "Oh." And so she told me the story was that her parents said that we're not going to buy you a phone. But if you get the money to buy a phone, we'll pay for your phone plan. So
she got the money.
She went to get a job. She got the money.
And
she got
what she needed.
She got out.
Ooh, right? That's some balls. That's some balls right there.
As soon as she got enough money to pay, she quit.
That's amazing.
Right? So sometimes, guys, and I'm bringing this up again, if you have a specific goal, once you get to the goal, get out of there.
Yeah,
right? Because that's how you get sucked up. Like, even in my workplace, I kind of got sucked up, but at the same time, I had some clear goals. My first goal at my workplace was that I'm going to make enough money so that I could go and finish school.
Yes.
I got enough money. I was finishing school, and I was like, okay, you know what? This is the two things I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure I got off nights originally, because I was originally on nights. I got off nights. I'm going to finish school. So as soon as I finish school, I'm like, okay, am I going to go back to school? Am I going to try to get a job with what I have from school? Or am I going to progress at my workplace? Right? And I was like, you know what? I've been here. I've learned all of this shit at my workplace. I might as well do what I can to progress myself. And now I'm here. Right? And like, as soon as I made that goal, within 6 months, I became a part of management.
And you got this going on too.
Yeah, I'm doing this. So the thing is, you have to have your goals and don't get lost in the sauce. You get lost in the sauce because, like, my workplace, when I started working there, I was making a lot more money than Metro, right? So I was like, you can work.
And you know what? It's okay to lose your way too.
Yeah.
People also have a problem of, I've lost my way, so that means I can't go back.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. You can lose your way 100 times and still find your way back every single time. As long as you find your way back, that's all that really matters. Nobody cares if you lost your way. Exactly. Only you care if you lost your way.
Exactly.
And you're the only one stopping yourself. And this has been told to me because I've been in the same situation. And like I said, the last couple of years, personal things in my life made me unmotivated to want to even do anything. That I was just like, I'm stuck at the same job, this and that. But now I do have a goal. Now my goal is, hey man, the reason that I've stuck around is because I want to start doing this for you. Because it not only helps you, it helps me too. And now I need to stick to that goal, right? But the thing is, though, I also feel like I don't give myself enough credit because, hey, I've helped build. When I first started at that job, we had 2 channels, right? And they both had HD SD feeds, right? That's how long I've been working there.
Wow.
Now we have 4 channels that I oversee, all in HD, on top of a whole bunch of other signals that I make sure I don't have to make sure that they're running, but if something goes down with them and I see, I'm the first one to be like, hey, this is going on and stuff like that. I have made many promos and original videos, right? Small things I've done a lot of work, right? And I don't think I should be kicking myself being like, I've done nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Just because I haven't made a video on YouTube, right? Or I haven't made that short film, or I haven't gotten that. Yes, okay, these are things that I say I want to do, and I'm slowly kind of getting there. I have demons and things that I need to figure out about myself to overcome those things. But you know what? I've also done a lot of fucking work too.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of good work.
And the funny thing, you're talking about all of this because I think I mentioned it. I mentioned it in one of my previous podcasts too, where was it last week? It might have been last week, it might have been 2 weeks ago. I was talking to someone, and then I was like, hey, how you doing? Because everyone's like, oh, how's it going? What's up? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, I'm surviving. And I'm like, you're surviving? He's like, yeah. And he was talking about this.
Yes, yeah.
Right? Yeah. And I'm like, you're surviving? Are you surviving? Or are you living life?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I like that. I saw you posted on your story. When I saw that, I'm like, I gotta. That's right.
Yeah.
Am I? Because I say that all the time. Yeah. So, hey, how's it going? I'm surviving.
Yeah. And I'm like, are you surviving or living life, right? Because he was talking about his mom coming down. He's going to Niagara Falls. And I'm like, you think your mom wants to hear that you're just surviving, right? Or do you think your mom wants to
you're like, living life? You know what? And it's true, right? You got to be living life.
Right? So, and the thing is, living, like, that term in itself, because that was, like, one of my favorite people when I worked nights, right? So, when he said that, like, I thought it's something, like, I'm the type of person where if someone, there's automatic responses. We get so used to saying the same old shit, and it changes throughout the years, throughout the seasons. You know, if you say, hey, what's up? Oh, yeah, not much. Blah, blah. Like not much. Or, oh, you know, same old. When someone tells me same old, I'm like, same old what? Right?
Right.
Like,
same old life?
I throw a wrench at it because it's just like,
and then they're like,
the usual.
Oh, right.
And like,
what's the usual?
Right? And it makes people think again. And I like.
And then they go home, and then they're still thinking about it, and then they're like, "Fuck you, David. You've given me an existential crisis now. I've come to find out that I'm doing nothing with my life. Thank you so much. Have a nice life." Next thing you know, they freaking kill themselves.
No. It's usually motivational.
I swear. I swear. Nobody's died yet.
No, nobody has died yet. And we're trying to keep it that way. Like, for me, especially being in a management position, and I've been giving, like, advice all my life, too, right? So if you ever needed some advice, just holler at me, right? But overall, there's different ways to take things, and sometimes you have to have the soft approach. Sometimes you have to have a hard approach, because not everybody's built the same. We're all built different, right? But it's how we manage.
Right. Everyone comes from different walks of life. Everyone has their own ideals, right? Going back to what we were saying earlier, right? Everybody, and I feel like that's the problem with a lot of people, when, especially giving advice. There's people who give advice, and then there's people who are like, well, this is what I did. You know what I mean? It's like, well, it may have worked for you, it doesn't mean it's going to work for me.
Yeah, and the thing with advice, and I do have an episode on this too, it's just like, you have to be careful of who you're getting advice from as well, right? Because someone can give you really good advice, but it might even not be good advice for you, or they're just saying things that they've heard, right?
Or what they would do. Right?
Yeah.
This is what I would do in this situation.
And you have to, and like, for me, sometimes I'm like that, like, this is what I would do, but if you do it this way, this is what you need to keep doing. This is what might happen. So I'm going, like, if I'm going to give you advice, I'm going to measure the type of person you are, and if you're able to deal with the backlash. Right? Going back to that, like, yeah, you have to know how to deal with your problems, too, because I always tell people, I even talk to my mom, like, anytime my mom gets in a situation, sometimes, like, she runs away from the argument, and it's just, like, sometimes you have to fight out in your argument, but you can't run away from your problems all the time.
No, you can't. You can run away. You absolutely cannot run away from your problems. Your problems will always catch up to you.
Yeah. You know, you could be really fit. You could be spiritually fit.
you got problems,
fit,
they're going to come.
Catch up to you.
They're going to come.
You have to eventually deal with it, right? I know some people, and this is the whole thing, like, anybody who's in high school listening to this, high school is not the end of your life.
It's not.
It's not the end of your life.
It's not. I was having this conversation with my sister, who's starting Leger in September.
Oh my god, the baby.
Right? Yeah, I know, right? Well, she's the last one. She's the last one in the family.
Yeah.
But I was saying this the other day. Listen, you know, no matter what somebody says to you in high school, no matter how they treat you, no matter that, listen, it's 4 years. It's 4 years of your life, and once it's over, life becomes so much different, right? Like, I know, like, once I got to, like, prom, right? Once prom happened, that was the beginning. That night was the beginning of the rest of my life.
Damn.
Right? For me, that's when I pinpoint everything changed in my life, because that's when I finally stood up to my mom and was like, listen, I'm 17, 18 years old. I want to go out with my friends, right? I'm old enough to make my own decisions. You've raised me, so trust in that. And let me be free. Another thing I did around that time was I moved into here in my grandparents' place, right? So yes, I was still at home, but now I had my own space, which means that I can come and go, right? I'm not bothering anybody with me coming. I could do what I needed. So that, for me, literally prom, graduation, I felt it right away. This is the beginning of the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Right? And it's funny, those 4 years, looking back, felt like 100.
And it's only 4 years.
And it's literally only 4 years. The last 4 years of my life were fucking disappeared. Exactly. Like nothing. Bro. But I don't know if you know this, though. Our brains, I was actually looking this up. So when you're younger, your brain runs 1,000,000 times faster. So you're experiencing every millisecond as it's happening. So that's why things seem so long. Because your brain is focusing on every single millisecond. Right? Because you can. But as you get older, this whole like, hey, where the hell did the last 2 years go? It's because your brain starts working slowly, so it's not focusing on every millisecond. And that's why things seem so friggin' quick.
Guys, it's facts. See, we got random facts. It's not only me with the random facts. We got Chris Hollywood over here with the facts. But that's the thing. How I psychologically break people, since we were talking about that, this is when I do it on purpose. Instead of saying 4 years, I say a high school. All right. So if I wanna mess with people, I'm like, for example, I'm gonna dox my age, but it's been like at least 3 high. Yeah, it's been at least 3 high schools since high school.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Which is insane. Like for me, last year was 10 years since high school,
which is wild.
And I'm like, yo, freaking high school feels like 2 years ago, if anything. You know what I mean?
The thing is, it's just like people focus on high school, right? But that's only 4 years.
It's only 4 years, man. Right? There's people who stay in college longer than they're in high school.
I've almost been at my workplace, doing high school twice.
Right.
If I went to high school
twice. Elementary school is longer. You know what I mean? You're in elementary. You're in a single school longer than you are in high school. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, but high school feels. For some reason, those 4 years feel like 100.
It's intense.
Right? It is. There's a lot of things you're going through in those 4 years. And all I want to see, any advice I can say is, no matter what anybody says to you, it doesn't matter, and don't let the bastards get you down.
Exactly. For me, but I think it's just really easy for me to say, and it's pretty hard for most people. Just be yourself. And I know
be yourself.
I know it sounds
so typical, cheesy, so cheesy, but it's true.
If you are 100% you, like
that's it. Nobody can touch you.
When you're 100% you and you become comfortable with how you are, people will try to bug you.
Yeah.
And the thing is, a lot of those people will bug you because they're bothered by how confident you are in yourself.
Do you know somebody made a Facebook group about me in high school?
Really?
Saying Chris Costa should go kill himself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so somebody had messaged me being like, hey man, I think you should know. I can't remember who it was. But somebody messaged me, this was grade 10. I know who did it too. It was Jason Sardell. Do you remember Jason Sardell?
No idea.
Well, he wasn't in school long, right? And he was somebody I considered a really close friend. And now, and even now today, I've gotten over that shit. I still do consider him a friend. We were kids, right? That was another thing. We were kids and stuff like that. But in grade 10, I had a friend message me, being like, hey man, I think you should know about this group. And I go and click on it, right? Early days Facebook. Yeah, and there's this Facebook group, Chris Costa should kill himself. And it was my profile picture, which was a picture my mom took of me like in a fedora and stuff. And they drew a mustache on me.
Oh, wow.
Right? Yeah. And there's people who joined the group, right? And I will say that a majority of the people who joined the group and commented said, dude, this guy's going to kill himself for real. Like, this isn't cool, right? You know, this, that, you know. There was obviously a few people who laughed and shit like that. But I didn't let it faze me, man. And it's exactly what you said. I think that Jason was, maybe not jealous, afraid, whatever, of the fact that I was confident with who I was.
Yeah.
I would never let anybody, I was never one of those people where I got picked on. I never came home and went, oh, no, you know what I mean? No, like, I knew everything else I had going on in my life was great. Sure, this person can think whatever the hell they want about me. I still like my life.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, for me, I do things different. I always do things different, and I've been doing things different from, like, I don't know, like, when I was 8.
By the way, my mom shut that Facebook group down.
Oh, yeah?
Okay, I told my mom, I said, Mom, look what somebody made about me. Oh, boy, she went mama attack mode.
Oh, yeah.
She was calling parents.
Your mom's
right? She was like, yeah. She was calling parents. You know Daniel Bone?
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you remember in grade 10, he threw a house party.
Okay.
And I went. It was in the middle of the day. It was like it was our first exam week or something like that. And it was like he was just like his house got destroyed.
Oh,
house got fucking destroyed. Right. I stayed behind to help clean. I think Benici stayed behind to clean, and this guy Jason stayed behind to clean. Anyway, so my mom was coming to pick me up, I go outside. Right, my mom comes, picks me up, and the funny thing is, I remember his dad coming home, and he sees me and Matt. And he's like, "Oh, hey guys." We're like, "Oh, hey." Goes inside the house, and all we hear is, Daniel, what the fuck is going on? Where's my shoe?" His shoe was up on the roof. And where's my shoe? All right, and me and Matthew are dying outside, right? So I go home.
Yeah.
His dad is calling my phone nonstop. "Your son brought alcohol in my house. Your son brought..." All the alcohol was in the house. I didn't bring. My mom dropped me off at his house. My mom goes to the house and goes, "How dare you accuse my son? I dropped him off. He was wearing a spring friggin' jacket. He didn't have any alcohol on him. Stop calling my house. Stop accusing him, blah, blah, blah." But even my mom was like, that house was destroyed, man.
Damn. That's crazy. See, this is the wild shit that you do.
Lazy days. You know what's funny, too? So because I have my sister on Instagram, she's been following, you know when people follow pages, it comes up on your suggestions? There's a lot of Leger pages now. Right, Leger fights, Leger teachers, Leger. I'm following a couple of them just to like kind of like an old, like kind of nostalgic almost. I'm not even be the Leger teachers, right? Because
we had some interesting teachers.
Oh man, we had some interesting teachers. Mr. Finley, do you remember Mr. Finley?
Mr. Finley was a character.
Mr. Finley, I watched that dude one day. You might have heard this story. I was there for it. There was a tampon in the wrapper still on the floor, right? And we were in grade 11, right? It was like 11, 12 split. I want to start grade 10. We're in grade 10. And everyone, people are like, immature, like, ew, there's a tampon on the ground, right? Well, it was closed, it wasn't even used. And Mr. Finley comes over, and he's just like, what? What are you guys freaking out for? It's just a tampon. Yeah, he fully puts it in his mouth, right? Like a lollipop, right? And then took it out. We're all like, whoa, sir, what the hell, man? Right? That and the fact that he always used to talk about how he wanted to be a pilot, but he couldn't because he was colorblind.
Oh my god.
Man, he used to show us pilot videos. It's math class. Yeah. He used to show us like pilot videos and stuff, and always, yeah, I could have flown one of those, but I'm colorblind. And I'm like, it literally got to the point where I was like, I feel bad for this guy. This guy's dream was to be a pilot.
And that's the thing where, like, I think kids, teenagers, etc., you get exposed to so many weird things, and I think that's another reason why I could be like 100% myself, because I've had some pretty weird teachers, right? I don't know if you remember Mr. Wolf?
Oh, of course I remember. What time is it, Mr. Wolf?
Bro. So there was a teacher who was literally called Mr. Wolf. I don't know if they still tell the story or they do the game Mr. Wolf. What time is it, Mr. Wolf? But
is he still there?
I
feel like he's retired by now.
He's probably retired now, but if you asked him what time it was...
Oh, man, you're getting suspended. Not even detention, you're getting suspended.
Automatically getting suspended. And every year, somebody was doing it. Like, no, there's no fucking way. It's just like,
office.
Do it.
Yeah, go to the office.
Do it. If you're bad, do it.
I remember one time, me and Mohan went back. This was after we had graduated. We were not in the school anymore. We were done. But his sister was still there, and I think we had gone to go pick up his sister, right? So we went into the side door, and the attendant's office area. So they were having a meeting in that office that's right there on the right-hand side. So the attendance is over here, and then the office is over here. So Brandon takes his phone, right, and he puts the camera in, and we're just being silly, right?
Yeah.
He goes like this. As soon as he goes like this, all we hear from inside is all the chairs move, right? Everybody's getting up, and we're like, oh, shit. So we run, right? We start to go out the side door. We're not students anymore.
Yeah.
So as soon as we run, Miss Battellini, I think it was, vice principal.
Big Bird.
Yeah, Big Bird. She was like, excuse me, get back here, both of you. And me and Brandon stopped, and we looked at each other and went, why are we running? We don't even go here anymore. And we walked back, right? We let them come, and they started disciplining us, and we're looking at each other, dying of laughter the whole time. They're like, you think you're cool? We're like, we don't even go here anymore. What are you guys gonna do? Discipline? Send us to detention? Suspend us? We could call the cops. His dad's a cop. What are you gonna do right now? You guys can leave. We're already out the door. You should just let us go.
Oh man, that's wild. That's the thing where it's the system of everything, and there's the structure of everything too. Where when you're in an area, that's what they say, that's the thing with teachers too, where you have to kind of like disassociate from school, because like if especially with elementary school teachers, if you know elementary school teachers or even like kindergarten teachers, because you're around those type of people a lot, sometimes they throw temper tantrums like the little kids that they are, because they're exposed to the environment, right? So they're like, I'm disciplining anybody who's doing anything wrong. It's like, yo, bitch, I don't come here. Why are you yelling at me?
Why are you yelling at me? Yeah. It's in great, like, it was finally the first moment to go, oh, wait, nobody controls us anymore, right? Like, we're free to, we literally could have just kept on walking. We didn't have to walk back, right? We walked back out of respect, but we literally could have just looked at her and been like, fuck you.
Yeah, or go call the cops.
Yeah, go call the cops and then walked out of there. What are they going to do, suspend us?
Yeah, you're not loitering because you're off the box.
Right, we're leaving, right? Yeah.
It's pretty wild, but I think what I'm going to do is for part 2, we'll do the family structure.
Yes,
Getting along.
There's I was going to say we're at, what are we at? Holy crap, we're at an hour and a half. What's your longest? Is this your longest?
This is the longest
episode.
Yes! And I didn't even get to talk about the stuff that I wanted to talk about. Like, we talked about a lot, but I didn't get to get the core. I'm still going to edit a bunch of this. Yes, I'm keeping
that was my goal. My goal was, going into this, was I want it to be the longest
episode.
Yeah.
It's going to be the longest episode for now.
And we talked about so many different things, exactly. You know what I mean? I think we got a lot out there. And I got more to say, you know what I mean? I'm not even done talking about movies. I wanted to talk about what I feel the state of the industry is and going forward, right? Like, the entire movie industry right now is in this huge fucking change. It's wild. I'm not going to go into too much for this one, but it's just wild how Netflix and streaming has completely changed the industry. YouTube, it's even, right, has completely changed the industry. I'm just going to leave that at that.
Okay, so we're going to pause at that idea. Is there any final words that you want to say or do any shout-outs?
Honestly, if you're passionate about something, don't let anybody tell you otherwise. If it's your thing, it's your thing. And guess what? They have their own thing too. Everybody's got their own thing. Everything's got something that motivates them. And if you're feeling stuck right now in life, listen, you're not going to be stuck forever, and it's okay to be stuck sometimes. You just got to keep moving forward. Right? Be curious, not judgmental.
Okay. I think that's something great to end off on, so we're going to end there. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. This episode's probably going to be 3 parts because you guys have, like, no attention span.
Hey, man, I sit there and listen to 1-hour podcasts all the time.
What I'm saying is, though, my average audience.
Oh, right, yeah, the group of 5.
I got my 5 gang. I know 5 gang is going to be listening throughout, whether it's 10 minutes, whether it's 80 minutes.
And if you guys like what you hear, I would love to come back. You know, to be totally honest, I think we got good, good energy, good chemistry.
It's good, right? And I think the added part is because I'm in a new area, right?
Yes.
You know, I'm not on the block.
It's my environment. You're in my castle.
I could see his passions around him, right? So maybe I might even take a picture for the.
Go for it.
I'll take a picture of like 3 things because I'm gonna break it up into 3 parts. And yeah. Anyways, guys, that's it for today. Chris Hollywood.